Hello, you. How are you doing? I've got an update for you on Hello You, the Shropshire podcast. And there's a reason that this episode is episode 149A instead of episode 150, but I'll explain that in just a minute or two. If you're a Spotify user, then you will have had your Spotify Rapt information sent to you over the last few days. It tells you what you've been listening to, tells you what your favourite artists are, and that kind of thing. Hello You, the Shropshire podcast, also goes out on Spotify. I don't make a big thing about that because of reservations I have about Spotify and the people who run it and how it pays or doesn't pay musicians whose music ends up on it. However, it does go out on Spotify, which means I get a different Spotify Wrapped at the end of each year. It's a Spotify Wrapped that tells me about figures for Hello You, the Shropshire podcast. And I need to say thank you. I really do need to say thank you, because here are the figures, here are the headlines from Hello You, the Shropshire podcast's Spotify Wrapped. Okay? The audience for Hello You, the Shropshire podcast, has gone up by 152%. How great is that? Plus 152%. The new audience, a bit of a caveat here, I'm not quite sure what they mean by that, but I'm going to go with it anyway, because the figures say the new audience for this podcast on Spotify is up by 999%. That's massive. Well, clearly it's massive. It has the feeling that, well, actually, we don't go to 1,000%, so we're just going to give them that. But back to the more understandable ones, the number of people following Hello You, the Shropshire podcast, on Spotify has gone up by 140%. And the amount of time that people spend listening to it, the listening hours on Spotify, are up by 100%. People are spending twice as long listening to Hello You, the Shropshire podcast. That's you. You are spending twice as long listening to Hello You, the Shropshire podcast, as they were last year. And I'm absolutely chuffed to bits by this. There are similar figures for the Substack broadcast, if that's the word for it, of Hello You, the Shropshire podcast. But these are the ones that they send you in nice, cool, social media friendly graphics. So I'm going to be putting those everywhere, as you can probably imagine. Thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful. Whether you get this podcast on Substack, whether you get it on Google Podcasts, where you can find it, whether you get it on Apple Podcasts, whether you get it anywhere else. There are some others that people use that I don't even know about. Or if you are a Spotify follower, thank you. Thank you so much. Total audience up 152%. Followers up 140%. Listening hours up 100%. I can't tell you how happy I am. Thank you. Needed that, to be honest, because you know how it is this time of year. Anyway, so why is this episode 149A instead of episode 150? Well, I promised you some stuff on episode 150, and here's the thing. Let's face it. We're all just trying to get to Christmas, right? There is so much going on for all of us. And each of us individually, we've got our own stuff to deal with. Me, absolutely included. So if this isn't the time where we can't ease each other's burdens and our own burdens, then when is? Let's do that. Let's ease each other's burdens. Let's make that our Christmas present to one another. And our Christmas present to ourselves, too, for that matter. After all, at this time of year, with everything that's going on, with all the social activities, with all the jobs you got to do, with all the demands and pressures and anxieties, who the hell's got time to listen to anything right now? Seriously. Apart from stuff you put on in the background. Who has got time to listen to anything? Let alone, in my case, edit and produce anything. I've got to say I haven't. And I've been driving myself up the wall trying to find the time to do that, and it's not been going well. Hence, I'm cutting myself a bit of slack, and arguably you too. So, as I mentioned, episode 150 of Hello You, the Shropshire podcast, is going to be a kind of mini relaunch around some new graphics that I've had done, some new artwork that I've had done for the podcast, which I'm really excited about, and some new publicity materials, which I'll tell you about during episode 150 as well. There's also going to be, if you're new, if you're one of the huge numbers of new followers, new subscribers on Substack, if you're kind of new to all this, there's going to be some of the backstory, some of the explanation of how we got here, what this is, what it's supposed to do, what my kind of theories and practices are around doing this sort of stuff. And there'll be an offer on subscriptions too. I'm not quite sure what the nature of that's going to be, but there will be an offer on subscriptions. So watch out for that. That'll be coming out with episode 150. And then once episode 150, which has become like it's been hovering over me for rather too long. Once episode 150 is out, then there'll be so many more great conversations and so much more great audio and so much more interesting stuff for you to enjoy in 2026 and for your friends to enjoy as well. Because if you like this kind of stuff, you probably know other people that would like this kind of stuff too. So, give yourself a Christmas present and subscribe to Hello You, the Shropshire podcast on Substack. Just go to jimallthetime.substack.com. jimallthetime.substack.com. Or, if you want to make next year's Spotify Wrapped as spectacular as this year's, you can follow Hello You, the Shropshire podcast on Spotify. And tell your friends. It's intelligent, progressive, inquiring, thoughtful, sometimes quirky conversation for and about Shropshire and the rest of the world as well. If that's what you like, and if you can't find it anywhere else, and I don't think you can, then get on board. Join the Hello You family. You'll be very, very welcome. That's kind of it, really. Thank you so much for being there. I'm very grateful. Thank you for adding to these fantastic figures that I'm really proud of. It's not why I do this. I do this because there's stuff that needs talking about. But I'm glad that it's being well received by you. So thank you again. I hope you have the best Christmas that you possibly can in whatever your circumstances may be. Not everybody looks forward to Christmas. Not everybody loves Christmas. Some people really, really do. Not everybody does. So however you're feeling about it, whether you're looking forward to it or not, whether it's a different Christmas for you this year for whatever reason, or whether it's exactly the same Christmas and you either love it or you don't, I hope you have the best Christmas that you possibly can. And after that, a marvellous New Year. But between Christmas and New Year, you'll get episode 150 of Hello You, the Shropshire podcast. I'd hate for you to miss it, so please, like I said, subscribe. jimallthetime.substack.com or follow on Spotify. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of the people around you. And I really hope that the people around you are taking care of you too. Happy Christmas. And I'll talk to you again soon. See ya.